What up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Al, right back at you with another video. What we're doing here, guys, we're going to be doing a zero razor fade comb over with a hard line. With trim on top, and we're going to style it for him. This is my buddy Frankie right here, one of my regulars. So he already knows what's up. First step we're going to do right here, guys, we're going to grab our balder and we're going to take down all the bark. We're going to make our first guideline all the way around. As you can see, the balder just knocks it down very smooth. If you ain't got a balder, get it, guys. I've been talking about it. First step right here is to grab our number 2 Oster metal blade, and we're just gonna go right up to our part line. This young man, he doesn't like a lip that hangs over right there, so what I do is just go right up with the number 2. What I like to do is ask customers when they're getting this specific haircut, I like to ask them, do you like a little lip or you don't like a little lip? If you like the lip, then what I do is I'll use the number 4 and then I'll blend it out. But if they don't want the lip there, then what I do is I usually go with the number 2, just like I did on this young man right here. Okay, next step is to grab my number 1 with the lever open, and what I'm just gonna do is go right up the side right there, all the way up to where I went with the number 2 almost. Just slightly less lower, all the way across. You see that? And then now what I'm gonna do is drop my lever down to a number 1 and go up halfway. You can see right away it starts blending out, lightening up. Now what I grab right here is I grab my trimmer, and what I'm gonna do is create my shave shadow. My shave shadow is where I'm gonna shave up to when I go back up with my shaver. Next step is to grab my machine with no clip on with the lever open, and I'm gonna go 3/4 to an inch up. Then I'm gonna lower it 1/4 of the way and go up 1/4 of the way from the top. Then I'm gonna lower it halfway and go all the way across halfway. Now I'm gonna grab my trimmer and just stop that bottom line. As I see, I'm just scraping it up and the line comes right up. Now I got my machine halfway open, and I'm just gonna dot the secondary line that I left right below where I went up with a half. Now I'm gonna grab my half clip right now, and I'm gonna start blending out that center shadow. I call it a center shadow because that's what it ends up being. Once I start going up, I'm gonna lower the lever 1/4 of the way, and as I do, you see the center shadow is just lightening up. As I do, I lower my lever 1/4 of the way, and I just keep raking that center shadow. And you see it blends right in. What I'm doing right here is I'm just basically doing a little bit of detail work, and I'm just moving my lever up and down as I see small shadows, and I just push up the shadows. As I push up the shadows, what I do is I lift up the lever, and as I go up, I pick up the lever a little bit more until it's wide open. Now what I'm doing is grabbing the trimmer, and I'm just lining up that bottom line, getting ready for my next step. Okay guys, again right here we start off with a number 2 metal, and we're gonna go right up to where the part would be. Well, of course there's no part here, so we're just gonna go right up to the side right there. There's gonna be a lip right there that we're gonna take care of right now with clipper over comb. So right here we're just gonna clipper over comb it and just even up that wall right up to the side right there. Again guys, when I fade, like I explained to you guys before, I fade in 3 parts. I fade the right side, the back side, and then the left side. I just find it easier that way. Some people like to fade, they go all the way around the head. I like to do it in sections. Okay. Okay, the next step right here, guys, is going to be for me to grab my number 1 with the lever open, and we're going to go right up to the same spot we went with the number 2, just lightening it up. As we go all the way across, we're going to drop our lever down to close, which is the number 1, and we're going to go halfway up, just concentrating mainly on the bottom, lightening it up. And right here now we grab our machine, no clip on, with a lever open, which is the half, 3/4 of the inch up. Now we lower the lever 1/4 of the way, going all the way across. Now I lower it all the way close, just dotting the bottom line. Next is for me to grab the trimmer and again just rake the bottom line, making sure that it's up. Make sure that that bottom line is gone. Now I'm going to grab my machine, no clip, halfway up, and I'm just going to rub that secondary line right up to where I went with my half. Excuse my video, guys, it got a little blurry right here. But again, the same steps, guys. We're going to go here now with the half clip, lever open, and we're going to go right up to where we went with our 1.5. And as we go across, we're going to lower the lever 1/4 of the way, and again we're just rubbing that secondary line. Now right here we're just doing our little detail work we did on the other side, remember? Just moving our lever up and down, pushing little shadows up and raking them up. Okay, again, guys, right here we start off with our number 1 lever open, and we're just gonna go up about 1.5 inches. Now I grab my trimmer right here, and I'm just making that secondary shave shadow line that I make. Now right here I'm gonna grab my clipper over comb, and I'm gonna start evening it out, guys, just blending up. What I do is I like to pull up with my comb. And I pull up hair. As I pull up, I just grab chunks and take it off and just try to even off the wall. Be careful not to take too much. You just start off a little bit and take a little bit more. What I did right there is I put a clip to make sure that I don't cut off the part that's gonna flip over on our comb over. So I just move it our way, put a clip out of the way, and then that way can even it out right there. There's some different ways you could have done it. I could have went out with a clip, number 4, number 3, you know what I mean, and blended it out that way. But I just find it easier to do it with clipper over comb and faster. Right here again, I'm just evening it out with a number 1.5, and then I lower it to a 1. Now I'm gonna grab my machine, no clip, lever open, 3/4 of an inch up. And as I'm going across, I'm lowering my lever and just taking off that bottom line. Now I'm gonna grab my right here again, I'm just dotting the bottom line with my trimmer. Now I'm going to grab my machine with no clip on and just breaking that secondary line. Next step is for me to grab my machine with a half clip, lever open, again going up to where I went with my 1.5. As I go across, I'm lowering my lever little by little, and I'm just breaking that center shadow, just blending it all in. As you can see, I still have a shadow there that I'm going to have to take care of with some more clipper over comb. So here I come in and I'm starting to lower that bulk that I have right there. Of course, there's going to be a comb over that's going to lay over that spot, so it's going to all blend in at the end. So right here I grab my 1.5 again, and I'm just pushing that shadow up a little bit, so it just lightens it up a little bit more, so it all blends in. So now I grab my shaver, and I'm just gonna shave up to where I went with my shave line, my shave shadow line that I created with my trimmer before I started fading it up. If you create that shave shadow line, guys, when you come up to shave, it's very easy, so you don't lose your spot. You know exactly where to shave up to. Sometimes when you shave up and you create a line with your shaver, it's very difficult to take it down. So that's why I create the shave shadow lines. That way, when I shave up, I know exactly where I'm going to shave up to, and it all blends in perfectly. you guys should all be shaving everybody. If they allow you to shave with the shaver, you should be using it. That's the difference between a good fade and a tight fade. You know, anybody could do a good fade, but a tight fade is, you know, like as you can see right here, what I'm doing right now is just cleaning up the bottom hairs. But you can see already that this is a tight fade. Like it's coming out clean. I mean, there's no hair at all on the bottom. You know, it's just gonna be super smooth. And when you use a shaver, the electric shaver, that's the difference between an electric shaver and even a straight razor. I mean, a straight razor comes out nice and smooth, but the shaver just comes out extra smooth. Makes your fades look extra crispy. So here what I'm starting to do is I'm just adding water, and I'm adding a generous amount of water. As you can see, his hair is very straight, and so I have to add plenty of water. Actually, you can see I got him really wet, but on him I like to use a lot of water because it's easier to manage his hair. So when I cut his hair, I'm just barely on the front. I'm just taking off maybe half an inch, and as I go back, I'm only gonna take off half an inch. And as I go farther back, I take off 3/4 of an inch, and I get to the back, I usually take off an inch. So leave it longer towards the front and shorter towards the back. And if you want that nice scoop in the front, it's always good to leave it a little bit longer in the front. So what I do is I create that guide, and as I go back, as you can see, there's my guide. I go back maybe half an inch, and I grab my guide again. I use 7-inch shears, guys, if you guys are wondering. And the reason why I do that is because when I pull out the hair, as you can see, I only take one swoop of the scissors. I see people that work with the smaller shears, and they take 2 and 3 chops at one handful of hair. I find it easier just to take one swoop. Keep them nice and sharp, and get it done right away. Get it done faster. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut it from side to side after we cut it from front to back. And the reason we do this is to checker. What we lift up from side to side is we're gonna pick up. We're gonna see what we missed when we went from front to back. So what we're doing is called a checker cut. Now, as you can see, his hair is very straight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna style it for him. And what we apply right here is some Suavecito grooming spray. We add a generous amount. And what it does, the Suavecito grooming spray is a hair setter. And what it does is the hair sets. As we blow dry, we're going to set it to the position that we want it. So what we're using is we're going to use our roller brush right here. It's a 1/2-inch roller brush, and what we're going to do is just roll the hair that way. And as we roll it, what you do is you set the blow dryer right to where the rolling action is, and the hot air shoots through the ceramic brush and sets the hair to that position. As you can see, I'm rolling it, and the hair starts to roll to that position. If you don't have hair setter or Suavecito grooming spray, you could use hairspray. Should work the same system. As you see, all I'm doing is just rolling the brush, lifting up the hair, rolling it. As I roll it, you can see that it also gives it volume, lifts up the hair. So right now, when we're done with this procedure, what we're gonna do is just grab our pomade and just apply it on the top of the hair, not really rubbing it into the inside, just mostly on the. It's kind of a topping for your hair. Right here we continue just to roll our brush. See how I lift it up and blow direct hair onto it? almost like creating a curl in the front of the hair. The next step right here is now to apply some Tip Top pomade. I apply some generous amount on my hands, and what I'm doing is just rubbing it into my hands. Now I'm just gonna rub it straight onto the hair. Try not to rub too much into the hair, mostly just on top. You don't really want to break up the hair, the volume that we've already created with our blow drying. Now what I'm gonna do right here is grab my comb and just gonna comb it in the direction that I want to form it. Comb it from the back to the back, and then the front we're just gonna create a scoop up and over, as you can see right there in the video. Shaping it and forming it to the direction that we want it to. Of course, and that's the direction that we were blow drying the hair. This is a good technique if you have very unmanageable hair, or if you have a client that has unmanageable hair. If you use these steps right here, you could usually get it to go in the direction you want it to. Of course, it's good always to show your client how to do this technique. That way that the next day he can perform the same haircut that you just did to yourself. Because sometimes a customer will leave the shop looking a certain way, and you know, the very next day he goes home and he can't style it the same way you did. So a lot of times if I'm styling it a certain way, I'll try to explain to my customer, that way he can get that same haircut the next day. Right here what I'm doing is just doing the hard line. The hard line's already kind of there, so basically I'm just dotting it in with my trimmer. I don't like real thick hard lines, so I just try to keep it very small. Right here I'm just throwing a little hairspray on top just to freeze it so it holds in place. So right here pretty much a haircut's done, guys. So the last step for me right here after every haircut is basically just go back and do a little bit of detail work with my clipper over comb. Make sure there's nothing sticking out, make sure there's nothing that's uneven, and just basically the last steps of finishing the haircut up. Keep in mind, for you younger barbers, you always got to know when the haircut is done, you know what I mean? Sometimes, I remember when I was first starting off, I would go on and thinking that I would see this and see that, but always use your mirrors. Use your mirrors. Look into a mirror never lies, you know? If you look in a mirror and you see a shadow, there's a shadow there. But always know when your haircut is done, guys. Right here, like I see a little detail work with my 1.5. Just going up and just pushing up this little shadow that I have, that little corner shadow that I saw right there at the moment. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, leave me a comment, please subscribe. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help, guys.